Hey guys, I'm still covering news from E3 because we got a ton of information that no one is really talking about, and one of those is Gearbox confirmed the amount of weapon manufacturers in Borderlands 3. When I started to think about it, I don't believe Gearbox has really given us a definitive number at this point and always tries to avoid the question directly. Before I get into that, make sure to follow me on Twitter at HayderHype, and let's get right into it. So during an interview on the Unreal Engine YouTube channel, Kayla Belmore, who's the content pipeline producer for Gearbox Software on Borderlands 3, was answering questions about the game when she was asked to talk more about the weapons in-game, and this is what she had to say.
Guns is, of course, one of the ways in which we do that. Talk a little bit about the arsenal that people will be equipped with in the game.
So we have 10 unique weapon manufacturers, and each one of the manufacturers has an entire set of rarity and guns that use different gestalt parts. So your barrels, your sights, and your stocks will all be different on each guns in the way that they roll.
And to most people, this sounds completely normal, but if you go back and check the Borderlands website or just remember, Gearbox has only announced 9 weapon manufacturers in Borderlands 3. She did not say just manufacturers in general, she said weapon manufacturers. So no Anshians or Pangolin has to be added to this count. So just as a recap of the manufacturers we have confirmed so far, we have Tediore, Hyperion, Dahl, COV or Children of the Vault, Vladof, Malawan, Jacobs, Torg, and Atlas, which is 9. The numbers check out. And I don't think her saying 10 was a mistake. In her role, she probably knows how many weapon manufacturers there are in-game, but probably just forgot how many had been announced and they're allowed to talk about. But all of this leads into the more interesting question, which is, who is the 10th manufacturer then? Well, we all know it can't be Bandit or Scav. Those have been replaced by COV in this game, or Children of the Vault. It's also possible Gearbox weapons will return, but they never really counted as a real manufacturer. Because going back to her statement, she said that these are a complete 10 weapon manufacturers. They all have their own parts, and in Borderlands 2 there was only a handful of Gearbox weapons, so I wouldn't really consider that the 10th manufacturer. And it narrows it down to really 3 big possibilities. Number 1, it could be a manufacturer we haven't heard of before, which is completely possible. Gearbox could definitely do that and create something new. But the 2 more likely is that it could be either S&S munitions or Iridian weapons. I already made a video breaking down how we saw our first Iridian weapon in the Borderlands 3 trailer, and I would say the evidence on that is pretty solid, but the one thing I'm not sure of is if Iridian will only have a few one-off legendaries and higher end weapons for us to collect, but it won't be a full manufacturer in that regard. If they only have 10 or less than 10 weapons in game for us, I don't know if Gearbox would consider that a full manufacturer, because each weapon would have such specific parts, it wouldn't require that much on Gearbox's end. And the reason why I don't rule out S&S completely either is because we had that data miner a while back who pulled the weapon manufacturers from Borderlands 3, and Iridian and S&S were both in game. So it just brings up a lot more questions with each one we try to answer. We haven't seen S&S really since Borderlands 1. At the time, Gearbox gave us answers when Borderlands 2 came out of why they didn't include it. They said basically that they didn't have a reason anymore, that Bandit kind of took its role. So it would be interesting to see how they would bring them back and what their new mechanic or gimmick would be. One last thing I will mention is back in 2017, Gearbox tweeted out 10 weapon manufacturers, gazillions of guns, and 400% more awesome. And at the time, a lot of us thought it was talking about Borderlands 3, that we would have 10 weapon manufacturers in game, which I did make a video about. And now looking back, it looks like this has been some early teasing by Gearbox. At the time, speculation was crazy and everyone was trying to figure out what manufacturers would be returning and which ones wouldn't make the cut. And now it's crazy that a little over a year and a half later, we are right back to where we started. We still are no closer to knowing what this 10th manufacturer is or which weapons will be returning. But that's where I'm going to end this video. I just wanted to lay out all the information for you guys and let you guys come up with your own conclusion for what this 10th manufacturer is or who it might be. Make sure to like and share this video, subscribe for all things Borderlands, and I will see you guys in the next one.